The British Virgin Islands, through a new piece of legislation, is seeking to modernize and enhance the outdated jury system in the territory. At a roundtable session this week, several high-ranking officials, including Director of Public Prosecutions Tiffany Scatliff, Security and Justice Advisor Alva Mackenzie Agard, and Registrar of the High Court Vereen Vanterpool Nibs, explained what the 2022 jury bill is trying to achieve.
We've also had numerous challenges to that Jury Act. There's at least one instance where a portion of the legislation was struck down for unconstitutionality.
The current Jury Act was passed in 1914. Of course, things were a lot different then in the BVI. And we started the process under the Law Reform Commission in 2009 to get a new jury bill that better facilitated the criminal justice process. The main difficulty we have with the current Jury Act is the limited size of what we call the jury pool or the jury array, which is more or less the group of persons you will select those 9 jurors from. Some of the problems we've been facing are, for example, we are a small territory, about 35 to 38,000 people. Right now, how things are, even though the current legislation allows it to be broad, it's limited to just persons who can vote. Not every BVI lander who is a citizen or Balanga has exercised or decided to register to vote, so you're leaving them off. There are other people who are part of the society for a number of years. They contribute. It is important to them. Most people don't understand. Juries are supposed to be representative of the community at large. And what has happened in the past is that you will have a jury array selecting, and when you read up half the names of the persons on the indictment, meaning the witnesses, the accused, persons will get up and say, I'm related to this person, I know this person. So that cuts down about 50% of the persons in the room. Then, of course, there are persons who cannot come because of their jobs, who have other difficulties, who have been already excused prior, because there is a process where if you're not available, the court can excuse you. So it brings us down to a very limited jury pool. The prosecution has the right to excuse jurors for different matters. For example, previously, the wives of police officers or the spouses of police officers were not exempt. And sometimes you will have police officer spouses in that jury pool. And just to make sure everything appears to be fair, you have to excuse them. We have local attorneys, including myself. And on more than one occasion, I have to stand by members of the jury pool who are related to me. It's not that they couldn't do a good job, but it's the appearance of fairness in a criminal trial that is essential.
The new legislation will modernize the language to make the jury selection process more clear. Agard made reference to a 2019 Privy Council judgment, William Penn versus the Queen, where the jury selection process was criticized by the judicial panel. In that matter, the critique had to do with the practice of relying solely on the voters list to select jurors, which left a large cross-section of the citizenry out of the process.
When you are being tried for a criminal offense, you are to be judged by a jury of your peers. What does that mean? That means you have to be judged by the people in your society who you live with every day. And we have a very large demographic. It's not how it was in 1914. It was just persons from the Virgin Islands. We have a lot of different people who have come here, lived amongst us, and are part of our society. We need to make sure that they are all included in this process. It's also a part of your civic duty as being part of the community. If you don't vote, you should be on a jury.
According to the DPP, by broadening the jury pool to make it more inclusive, there was a better chance of having a wider cross-section of society involved in the dispensation of justice, an important consideration as it is often a jury that determines whether a person is convicted or acquitted of a criminal offense. It was noted that the new bill expands the pool of potential jurors by scouring the Social Security Board, the Department of Immigration, and the Civil Registry for information to get a more comprehensive list of people in the territory.
To qualify as a voter, you can either be a belonger, either have been granted a certificate of residency under the Immigration Act through the Immigration Department, ordinarily resident in the territory for at least 10 years, but also persons that are registered to vote. Having said that, there is one important eligibility criteria. You must be at least 18 years, but not more than 70 years. So that has widened the jury pool.
Previously, only those aged between 18 and 60 years were eligible to serve on a jury. Authorities note that even with the extension of that age range to 70, those physically or mentally incapable of participating in the process, no matter their age, will not be required to serve as jurors.